Hi, I'm Orla, and today I'm going to be talking about learning Polish. So, my journey learning Polish has been quite a long one, a very difficult one. I started learning Polish when I was 11. I already knew some words in Polish, but it was not good. I knew a few phrases, a few words, and that was it. So 11-year-old me decided to use Duolingo. I've used Duolingo before for other languages and I picked up on it quite well, usually. And for example, German, I use German on Duolingo. Not as much anymore, but it was great for vocabulary and it definitely helped with my German. I can't say as much for Polish. Polish on Duolingo, maybe it's gotten better since the last time I used it. It's really bad. And this is no Duolingo hate, but I think that you see with specific languages how much they've gotten it. So like for Spanish and German and French, there's a lot of things you can do on the app with it and there's a lot more vocabulary. Whereas Polish, not so much. Like with German, we have these fake speaking scenarios. That's not an option in Polish because clearly they're with the more popular languages, they put in more money, I guess, or, more research. So Polish and Duolingo actually kind of taught me some bad habits, I'm not gonna lie to you. The pronunciation on it's not that great in my personal opinion. Also, you know how there's the thing on Duolingo to slow down the pronunciation? Last time I used Duolingo for Polish, that's not an option. So sometimes the people pronouncing it on Duolingo, like the little voices, they're quite good, but if you can't slow it down, it's not great. So for me, it was kind of 50-50. Polish on Duolingo wasn't great. My understanding of Polish wasn't great. And therefore, my pronunciation was very off. And I couldn't really form great sentences. I didn't really know what I was doing. So I did Polish on Duolingo for a long time. It was about 4 or 5 years. And I really didn't learn anything. I learned a lot of food words. I learned some basic phrases, like czeszk and things like that, dzień dobry, but it wasn't actually quite helpful for conversation, obviously because of it was hard to kind of listen to and they didn't have those conversation things that they have in German, but it was also because the way that they phrased it and paired with my lack of understanding just was a dire combination. So I'm not gonna lie, I gave up on learning Polish. I was like, I'm clearly just not good at this language, so I'm just gonna stop. But then recently I decided to take Polish lessons at my local Polish association. I started them last year and they've already finished, but it was a beginner's class on Polish. Because I was aware, I was like, yeah, I've been learning this language for years, but not properly, so I was not gonna try and take any harder of a class. And it was so beneficial for my pronunciation and just everything, to be honest. And that's sort of when I realised, I was like, I'm not bad at Polish. I've just not had great resources. Also, with Duolingo, a lot of the time, they can't fully explain why things are the way they are. But obviously, having a tutor, especially one that is Polish, they're able to explain things to you that you don't really understand. I definitely had some bad habits and also just mispronunciation. Like when people ask you how you are, jak se máš, you're supposed to say dobrze, for good, but I used to always say dobre, which people will pick up on and, you know, understand what you're trying to say, but that's not correct at all. So that is an example of some of the things that I didn't really understand. But no, so going to the Polish Association and learning Polish there really helped me. And now that I've finished doing that, my plan is to take some online lessons, because as far as I'm aware, my association only do beginners class, so I don't want to take the same class again, obviously. So I'm gonna look at lessons online to continue. I also bought the Polish for Dummies. I'm not entirely sure how good this is, but when I flipped through it, it looked really good, so I bought it. We used a completely different textbook for my lessons, but I didn't want to get the same one. I actually need to buy it. I had it as a PDF when I was doing my lessons, but that one is also really good. I forget the name of it, but it was great. And I'm hoping that that textbook will also help me. But I am obviously looking for lessons. When it comes to a language like Polish, you really need a tutor or somebody who is Polish to help you with the pronunciation. A lot of my friends are Polish, so I do use them, but when it's new vocabulary, it's just best to, in my personal opinion, have a tutor. The reason I didn't have a tutor was because it was so expensive, I couldn't afford it. But then obviously I invested in these classes at the association and they were really beneficial, so that is why I'm deciding to get a tutor again, so I can continue with learning Polish and also hopefully get better at pronouncing, because that seems to be my biggest problem. Some of the things I come out with are not they're creative takes, I'll give myself that, but they're not good. That's sort of all I have to say at the moment. I'm sort of still on the start of my learning Polish experience, I guess. I thought it would be good to mention it, just to, you know, document what I'm doing, and also just to speak about, because I love speaking about learning Polish. It's something that I care about quite deeply. I think that if you want to learn Polish, you should. But also, like I said, Duolingo didn't really help me, so if you've always wanted to learn Polish, or you've tried to learn Polish, but you don't think you're going to be good at it, trust. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Sometimes it's just finding the right resources to help you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.